It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce Andrew Neidhart, the salutatorian of the class of 2007. Andrew is a terrific individual who's been extremely active in the school and community activities during his years in high school. He has served as president of the National Honor Society, head attorney of mock trial, and led Rondout Valley to success in Washington, D.C. as head delegate of the Model OAS. His busy schedule has included participation in the cross-country, alpine ski, track and math teams, and science Olympiads. Andrew has volunteered his time at the Rochester Youth Commission and raised over $800 for multiple sclerosis through his annual MS Bike Tour. Andrew finished the year with a 98.9 average and will be attending Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in the fall, where he plans to study engineering. Here he is, Andrew Neidhart.
Hello everyone. I'm really glad to have the privilege of addressing you tonight. When I was writing this speech, I realized that you'll probably forget my speech unless I make it about something a little bit unusual, so here it goes. High school, and by proxy life, is like a trebuchet. What's a trebuchet? Well, if you're in AP Physics, Tech Club, or just into launching things, you may already know. For the rest of you, well, normal people, it's sort of like a catapult, but it's launched by a hanging weight. Anyway, how is high school comparable to a trebuchet? Well, if you go step by step, it's really all of the same processes. The first thing you need to do is build the trebuchet. In this analogy, that's your childhood. You need help in this part, and your parents tend to be a pretty good resource. Without an excellent foundation, it's hard to move on to anything bigger in life. Next, once your trebuchet is built, you have to find something to fire. Here, you're the projectile. Your adolescence is spent finding yourself, your interests, and your personality. After that, bear with me, you have to load the trebuchet. It takes friends to do this. You surround yourself with people who will help you load it, good people. Loading the trebuchet is like preparing yourself for the life ahead of you, which includes some of your schooling and your early work experience. After that, you pull the release mechanism, and you go around for a wild ride and get launched. The idea here is that life will suddenly throw things at you, and how far you go is a measure of your success. If you've ever launched a trebuchet, you know that the first launch almost never works. You have to adjust the mechanisms, load it up, and fire. What you're really doing is attempting things in life, then succeeding or failing, but either way, adjusting and improving and trying it all over again. So why have I taken up your time with this silly, drawn-out analogy? Well, because I have the microphone and I think it's important. But seriously, the point is, you need your family to support you. Without them, you wouldn't have a trebuchet. You need your friends to prepare you for every launch in life, and after every launch, you need to adjust based on how successful you were. Whether you measure success by distance or accuracy, money or happiness, always adjust and launch yourself again. Our world today is being faced with lots of new challenges that need new adjustments, from global warming to genocide to the failure of public schools to the status of our nation abroad. We're at a turning point where the power of the United States is diminishing both politically and economically. As we graduate, we're charged with dealing with these issues on a global scale. We're in charge now, and it's our job to fix these problems. And the only way we can do that is by working together and never giving up. If we don't change our ways, adjust, and launch again, we'll never get anywhere. That brings me to the point I would like to make to you today. It's far too often that people aren't willing to compromise in their opinions. We see it every day, in little arguments with your friends, to the politicians down in Washington who can't seem to get anything passed. People simply refuse to adjust. Partisanship doesn't work, in politics or in your personal life. As you enter the real world, and you find that everyone does have different opinions, remember this. If our forefathers hadn't been able to compromise, Congress would be meeting at the Holiday Inn in Philadelphia. So compromise, and remember that each opinion has a legitimate interest in any issue. Don't automatically discount any opinion, simply adjust and try it again. I'll leave you with a quote by one of the greatest Americans to live, Thomas Edison. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Believe me, if you ever build a trebuchet, you'll probably have more failures than that. But you can't give up. Adjust and try again. So congratulations to the class of 2007.